Hi, it's Dr. V, and I'm explaining the journal that you have for weeks 11 and 12. This is a document that contains the work for both of those weeks. The due dates are the 24th for week 11 and the 31st for week 12. I'll I will repost this journal for week 12 so that the grades go in the grade book separately, but I did want to leave it all in one document so when you're doing the week 11 work, you'll be able to look ahead. I think that's really helpful for a lot of my students. I set the journal up so that when you read through the instructions, you write your answers in the boxes underneath each question, and you can see what the point values are. You begin writing your annotations in draft or note taking form while doing your journal. And so it's going to be some copying and pasting, and then some notes that you do on the sources you have. And then later on, in a couple of weeks, the notes that you have in journals 11 and 12 are going to turn into your draft of your paper. So your scholarly source will come from the topics list. I linked it here. It was part of the lessons in week 10. And you'll create the citation for your source. You might be able to use the Google Scholar trick. You might use a citation machine. You might go to the Purdue OWL to make your citation based on what you can find there. I've got lessons on citation. You'll need to follow those and then put your citation in this box. Underneath, you're going to list 3 main points that the source makes. These main points could be a mixture of quotes that you copy and paste over here. Make sure you get the page number if you do. So if you don't, so you don't have to go back later and backtrack to find page numbers. You'll copy and paste quotes here, or you could rephrase in your own words how you would summarize. It could be a mix of your own words summarizing alongside of some quotes that you copy and paste. So again, think of this as note taking that heads towards your draft. In the next section, you'll copy and paste a direct quote or passage. Here, it's required to grab a quote. So if you don't do it up here, 3 main points, you must have a quote here in the relevant section. I'm going to add for clarity here, not one from the summary. So what I'm saying is make sure it's a new quote that you pull for this part. You'll see that when you get to the draft later on, that one of the things this paper is going to have in it, it's going to have research and citations. So the things you're putting in here are going to end up in your draft. And then here you explain how your source relates to your topic. When we get to later stages of the work, you'll be able to explain how your sources also relate to each other. But right now, you wouldn't know that. So you're just going to explain how it relates to the overall topic. Source 2 is your Oxford English Dictionary source. You're going to need to make sure you're watching the lessons. If you don't look at the lessons, it's just not going to make sense. So you really have to go back and make sure that you're looking at those if you didn't the first time those were posted. I have a couple of examples of things I want you to be careful with here. If you're working on slang, I want you to look up a slang word in the dictionary, not the word slang itself. If you can't find a slang word in there that you want to use, then try a different tactic. A different tactic, I'm going to type it in here now so you can actually see me editing my document, but This will be in it when you see it. You may also want to look up an unfamiliar word from your scholarly source. There's a very, very, very good chance that there's going to be some difficult vocabulary in your scholarly source. It's high level reading, and part of becoming a better reader, writer, and college student is to push yourself. And one way is by pushing yourself into learning some new words. So if you're not sure about what word to do, go look up an unfamiliar word that you find in your scholarly source, and then you could put your citation for the Oxford English Dictionary for your word below. There's lessons on that in the modules. Three main points that the source makes. You can summarize different definitions of the word you chose. What I don't want here is just direct copying and pasting from the dictionary definition. I want you to poke around in that dictionary definition and summarize several parts of it that you discover. The dictionary definitions are long, so there's all kinds of different things there that you can find to put in this part. And if you do quote from the dictionary, if you do go that route, just make sure that you um, say the summary of what that part is that you've copied over. Down here for the relevance, you quote a direct passage from the definition right here and why you chose it. I'm going to add on here, like what I said above. This, if you quote, no, when you quote, sorry, this should be a different quotation from any you might have used above. There we go. See, as I make my videos, I actually can figure out some of the things that are confusing to you, and then you do the evaluation. Now, once you get past this part, this is where the week 12 assignment begins. I have absolutely no expectation that you'll do any of that work, but you can if you want to work ahead. I'm just going to give feedback on the top part when I do the feedback for week 11. Thanks for watching.